I don't know, maybe year 2017 was not a good year for the writer. So basically wanted to ignore, like, yeah, there is, after 2016, we just jump ahead to 2018. I want you to pay attention to something that happens every day, every week, in every neighborhood. Your neighborhood, my neighborhood. You see shops opening. They have this opening ceremony, flowers, they welcome people, they give discounts. And unfortunately, on the other side, you have many shops that close down because of some other reasons. But this is the nature and the dynamic of business, of retail business. Shops opening and closure is something that happens every day, every week, and it happens in every country. That will qualify it to be a topic for IELTS. So, welcome to IELTS Juice. We have a report today on that topic. And the report says, the graph below shows the number of shops that closed and the number of new shops that opened in one country between 2011 and 2018. So the 2 years are telling me that I'm going to use past simple tense. I still don't know what type of graph it is, and it's a line chart or line graph. I have two major lines. Actually, there are only two lines. The solid one is the number of shops closed or shop closures, and the dashed one is the number of shop openings. These are numbers. I have 2011 and 18 and all the years in between. How many years are there between 2011 and 18? If your answer was 7, that is technically not accurate. Let me count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We have 8 data points. So there are 8 years that we need to cover. I know if you mathematically subtract 2011 from 2018, you get 7. But that's not the reality. The reality is that there are 8 data points. There are 8 years that we need to address. Okay, I think I have all the information. One more thing is that we're talking about a country. We really don't know what country it is. We just know it's a country. So it's not a region, it's not a neighborhood, it's not an area, it's one country. All right, let's look at the candidate's response. Oh, before that, I forgot to say yeah, I would like to see what overall things I can find here. One, more than one, I can see 2, 3 things. But the first one is that 2015 is such a fantastic year. Look at the difference. I can see things here and here before the 2015, after 2015. But I can see that the number of shop openings was a lot higher than closures, but in the end, it was closures that were higher than openings. That's one significant point. I can also see the difference between the number of closures from more than 7,000 to more than 500. That's 6,500 tolerance, while for openings it's 8,500, and the minimum is 3,000, 5,500. So from 7,000, yeah, that's 6,500. The other is 5,500. Well, not a huge difference, but basically number of closures had a higher range, fluctuated relatively slightly more than the number of openings. All right, let's look at the candidate's response. And you know, for reports, I need to have the report side by side, so I'll be back. Okay, we're good now. The line graph illustrates the number of shops that closed and opened in one country, between 2011 and 18. Sounds okay? Overall, there were significant fluctuations in both shop closures and openings throughout the period. That's a good observation. That's fair. There's nothing wrong with that. We have another sentence. Now that's a bit weird. 3 sentences for introduction on for a report. Okay. Shop closures experienced a dramatic dip in 2015. Yeah, that's true. Dip is a temporary change, usually change for the negative. You go down. In 2015, while shop openings generally showed a declining trend towards the end of the period. Oh, okay. So towards the end, it was generally declining. Yes, that's fair to say. I'm not sure about that overview, but okay. We could have picked something more generic instead of just towards the end. We could have just picked something better. I mean, more generic, more covering all the elements. Let's see. In terms of shop closures, the number started at around 6,500 in 2011. Fair. We're talking about this solid line. There was a slight increase, went down to approximately 7,000. In 2013. Okay, so we jumped over here, which later in 2014 bounced back to almost the same number in 2011. Yeah. The most noticeable change occurred in 2015, where the number of closures plummeted, yes, to just over 500, yes. Okay. All right, yeah, that's it. This was followed by a sharp rise back to around 5,000 in 2016, after which the numbers stabilized, ending at about 5,000 again, yeah, in 2018. All right, we just, in this paragraph, we stuck to the solid line closures and we had the journey. We had almost all the ups and downs. And we mentioned the key elements. Okay, fair. We missed 2012, 2017, but they aren't very significant data points. Moving on to the second body paragraph, which I assume now I'm beginning to understand the logic. So we have one paragraph for closures and we have another paragraph for openings. We are at the paragraph for openings. For shop openings, the numbers started higher than closures at around 8,500 in 2011. However, there was a significant drop to approximately 4,000, even below 4,000 actually, in 2012. The number of openings then showed some recovery, reaching a peak of around 6,100 in 2014. Okay, that's not the peak, but it also is. It's a more like a regional peak. It's not the maximum number. The maximum was here, but we kind of do not consider that as a peak because we don't have the information beforehand. So it is technically a peak, but it's not the maximum number. It's a local peak, so it is higher than its surrounding. And yeah, 6,100 is relatively accurate. Before falling again to about 4,000 in 2015. Yes, yes. From 2016, okay, we don't say what happens here. We need to just assume that the numbers did not change. But I needed a sentence here to just tell me that the numbers didn't basically change. From 2016 onwards, the number of openings gradually decreased. Again, it increased, ending slightly below 3,000 in 2018. We missed there's something with 2000, but poor 2017 didn't get a shout out in the closures and didn't get a shout out in openings. So I don't know, maybe year 2017 was not a good year for the writer. So basically wanted to ignore, like, yeah, there is, after 2016, we just jump ahead to 2018. Anyway. That's fine. It's not a significant data point, but when you say gradually decreased, I expect that this went down in 2017 and went down even further in 2018, but that's not the case. We had a slight increase, which is very insignificant. And then we went down, even went down further than 2016. And we ended up with 1,000 shops fewer than the year 2016. These subtle, small elements are the ones that will affect your score between 8, 9. That's all. In summary, while shop closures saw a dramatic dip in 2015 and then stabilized, that's a gross overview. The number of shop openings experienced a general decline with fluctuations over the period. The number of shop openings experienced a general decline. Okay, yeah, sounds okay. 195 words. So let's look at the band descriptors. I'll be back. I'm back. Let's go over the band descriptors. Yes, 8. They're just subtle changes needed for the score to get a 9. Some words, languages needed to be improved to make it a smooth transition. That may fall also a little bit into other categories. That's why you don't see 9 in other categories as well. The organization is not sequential, it was rather logical. I understand the logic, but sequential means that beforehand I know what to expect at every paragraph. I didn't have that information. And paragraphing was also good. The introduction was a little beefy, a little, chunkier than normal, but nothing bad. Vocabulary was very good. I really liked the use of, stabilized, dip, dramatic, decline. All these words were on point and accurate for this particular report. Grammatical range and accuracy, we just didn't use a wide variety of grammatical structures. We needed to use past simple. Sure, we couldn't use other structures like if clauses. I understand. We used relative clauses here and there. That was okay, but we still had limited range. Limited for a 7. For a 9, we needed a wider one. It is still a good range to get a 7. I guess 7.5 is a very fair score. To get it from 7.5 to 8, you need some other changes, and yeah, you might want to check the improved version on the IELTS Juice website, the link in the description. If you wish to see other videos like this, you know where to click, and I hope I'll be assessing your task 1 or task 2 later on. Take care.